It's Friday night, must be time for Nigel of Nigel's Animal Rescue. Happy New Year, Nigel.
Happy New Year to you, Phil, and
Great
Simon.
And to you. I'll shake your hand, even though it's awkward to do it from this position.
Now, you've discovered a murder mystery.
I have discovered a murder mystery. Now, have you ever heard about the Wanangata murders?
Not until you told me about it earlier.
Right, well, back in the early 1900s, it was 1917, I think it was, there was a murder of a farm manager that was running a cattle station up in the Wanangata Valley, which is halfway between Lacola and Dargo. And, well, he was found murdered. And then 9 months later, the fella that they thought who had murdered him, he was found murdered.
Oh, okay.
So there was a double murder up there, and it's quite a fascinating story. I'm sure a lot of listeners have heard about the Wanangata murders. Well, I was up in the Wanangata Valley over the New Year period, and I bumped into this fella up there who was selling some books. So I went in and inquired what it was all about. Now, he's been going into Wanangata for over the last 40 years now and done over 200 trips in there. He's really fascinated. He's interviewed absolutely anybody and everybody who's been associated with the cattle in the high country. He's written his third book, but this new book that he's just produced in the last couple of years, actually, Who Killed Jim Barclay, actually answers who did it, why it was done, how it was done, and I've never known. I always thought it was an unsolved murder mystery, but he seems to come up with the correct answers, and I believe what he's written in the book.
Now, my guess is, only based on what you said, that the second body they discovered, he in fact was the murderer of Jim and then committed suicide.
Well, that's one theory that happened, but it wasn't. He was actually found murdered, and it's been proven that he was murdered.
And they named the murderer in the book. He'd be long gone now if it was 1917.
Don't give it away, though.
Oh, no, we won't give it away who did it or what it was all about.
Wouldn't it make a great movie?
That could be episode 30 of Underbelly.
Yes, it will. No, it could be. Well, it's, as I say, it's a 100-year-old murder mystery, and I certainly believe what I've read in the book, and I recommend if anybody would like to get a hold of a copy, probably Googling Who Killed Jim Barclay by Wallace Malcolm Mortimer. You'll be able to get his details, because I believe he's published the book himself, and he's a fella that's in his about 85 years of age. He goes up into the valley
every year. Does he remember the event, does he?
Well, he wasn't around at the time the event happened, obviously, but he's interviewed absolutely everybody over the last 40 years, gathering all of the information. He's tried all the different theories that people thought of what had happened, and he's proved them all wrong, and he's come up with the answers.
I reckon it would make a fantastic Australian movie starring Nicole Kidman with Sam Neill as the first corpse and Hugo Weaving as a murderer.
Phil's not happy unless Sam
I've cast it already.
Phil is only happy if Sam Neill gets killed for some reason.
Now, have you been doing some rescue work?
I have been. Since I've been back, I've been pretty busy. A couple of amazing rescues. Last Friday night, I received a call about a dog that had fallen down a hole. And I wasn't quite sure what it was all about until I got up there, and it was a building site where there were some big holes about 2 foot in diameter that went down between 2 metres and 4 metres in depth. There was about 20 of these holes all scattered around.
What were they dug for?
Oh, I think there's a house being built there, and they were putting pylons and support into the ground, but unfortunately this work site hadn't been fenced off and the holes hadn't been covered over. And a Labrador...
It's not like there was a hole in the fence. And
no.
They've just dug in the ground. 2 foot wide holes.
2 foot wide.
Go down 4 metres. 4 metres. Left it open.
Just left them open.
Oh, dangerous.
With no safety fence around.
Exactly. Very, very dangerous. So this Labrador, who was a 15-year-old, Jessie is her name, Gemma, she had fallen down inside the hole, and she'd been there in a very tight, cramped position.
For how long?
Over 24 hours.
Oh, they didn't know where she was?
They didn't know where she was.
Head first? Or?
No, she was sort of curled around in a circle, because being a circular hole, and very uncomfortable position.
Did she survive?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I looked at it, I thought, how in the hell are we going to get this one out?
And how did you?
Well, we got the CFA to come out, so I thank the Sassafras, Ferny Creek CFA department. Yes. They brought a couple of trucks out, and we decided the quickest and easiest way was to grab me by my legs, lower me into the hole,
and you could pick it up.
And I can pick her up, which is what we did. So I grabbed hold of her.
Wouldn't she have been too heavy for you?
Well, we had a catch pole, a dog stick around her as well. And between between holding that and me grabbing her, we just plucked her out of the hole and got her down to the vets that night.
Did she suffer any broken bones?
No broken bones. She was having a little bit of trouble breathing the next day. She was very lethargic and very, distressed, obviously. A bit dehydrated there, but she survived. She's doing really well. But as the CFA were up there covering the holes up and putting tape around the work site to make it all nice and safe, we also found a tawny frogmouth had fallen down one of the holes as well. So we had a double rescue there, and the tawny was okay, so we're able to release that straight away.
A child could have fallen down one of those
These are all the things that we were talking about, extremely dangerous. So, and then I had a call from Donna from Badger Wildlife up in, she's out in the northern suburbs there, about a koala. And actually Donna was the lady that picked up Sam, the koala, from the bushfires back in 2009. So I worked very closely with them, but this koala had been seen sort of stumbling on the ground, not walking properly, and a woman thought there was something wrong with the leg, and it had gone about 80, 90 foot up a tree, so I got called out just outside of Bacchus Marsh, and climbed the tree, and unfortunately this koala had an injury on its leg, as the woman had seen, but all the maggots had got in, and had eaten probably a good third of its paw, had been eaten right out, and it was just really, really horrible.
Had to be euthanised.
Yeah, she had to be euthanised. Yes, sad. So we stopped the suffering there.
Thank you very much.
And in fact, very good advice. Anyway, if anyone is thinking of getting a cat or a dog, go down there and check them out, because if they don't get moved on, they get, sadly, and it's a fact of life, sadly they have to be disposed of one way or another. We would all prefer them to go to homes. So don't buy cats and dogs from pet shops. And no offence to the pet shops, but if you can save a stray and lessen the demand for new pets, bring the numbers down of those that are out there. And
won't they love you for life if you rescue them? They know it, don't they? Now, Nigel, an experience for you with flying foxes?
Yes, there we go, got to turn the mic on. Flying foxes in Melbourne at the moment are coming down at night into everybody's fruit trees. Now, every night we're getting them tangled up in the bird netting that people are putting over their trees. So I can really want to stress to all the listeners out there, if you have bird netting over any of your fruit trees, please go out there in the morning and check to make sure that you don't have any flying foxes tangled up. I did a job 2 nights ago where they'd been hanging in the tree for about 10 hours, and one of them had a broken thumb on him, and just absolutely tangled up, and they get so distressed, and they're such lovely little creatures. So please, if you do find any flying foxes, don't get them out yourselves. Call myself or call one of the wildlife.
And what's your number?
My number is, so everybody's got your pen ready, 0427 533 083.
That's 0427 533 083.
And permit me to put you out of business, Nigel, by saying if people can put wire across the top of their chimneys.
Absolutely.
That's what I recommended first.
Yes, that's something that we do talk about all the time. Please, I would much prefer to be out of business and not to have to get these animals there, because some of the situations I see are just atrocious. Anybody that does have an open chimney, an open flue, anything that's open to your roof area, you're asking for a possum to come inside.
Or a bird.
And lots of birds as well.
Now, a very quick question back to the flying foxes getting caught in the trees. Is there such a thing as a safe netting to put over your trees?
No, there's not. No, any netting will entangle any flying foxes that try to get to the fruit underneath them.
Nigel,
it's lethal.
Please give us your number again.
0427 533 083.
And you've been ringing us since night 1 of Nightline.
Yes, it's over 20 years now I've been phoning in.
Aware of that.
Anybody that wants to follow my rescues that I do with the dog down the hole and the koala up the tree, my Facebook page at Nigel's Animal Rescue, you can join up, and every day I pop up little videos of what I get up to.
Okay, and give us a number if we spot any roadkill or any injured animals on the road.
Injured animals on the road. Once again, you can call. There are plenty of numbers around on the signs on the country roads. Wildlife Victoria, Help for Wildlife. Quickly, the Wildlife Victoria number is 13000945 535, and I just can't remember the Helpful Wildlife.
That's right.
Off the hand,
done
but
well
please
enough.
put your these numbers that you see on the roads into your phone for when you do come across something that you can help them.
This man has rescued more than 35,000 creatures over the years.
Why is he pointing at me? Nigel's the one who's done all the work.
Well, Simon did rescue a magpie at the end of last year.
I did. I'd love to tell people about it, but we have to break in 3 seconds.
See you next time, Nigel.
Thank you, boys.